Okay, today we are going full-on detective mode to solve a mystery that might be happening inside your body every single month. We're talking about a critical but super misunderstood part of your cycle, the luteal phase. And trust me, getting this right is a total game changer.
But before we dive in, let me ask you something. That app on your phone, you know, the one where you log your period and it spits out predictions, how much do you really truly trust it? Like 100%.
Well, get ready for this because research shows that your app is probably getting your ovulation day wrong about 80% of the time. Yeah, 80. That means the tool so many of us rely on is only right 1 out of every 5 cycles. That alone tells you we've got to look way deeper than just an app.
So that brings us to section 1, what I like to call the app lie. So why are they so off? It's actually kind of simple. Most of them just use basic math. They look at how long your cycle is, subtract 14 days, and boom, they call that your ovulation day. But here's the thing, our bodies are not calculators, and for so many of us, that one-size-fits-all formula just doesn't work. To really get what's going on, you have to see your cycle for what it is, this incredible secret dance. It's this beautiful back-and-forth conversation happening between your brain and your ovaries. It's not just a timer counting down days, it's a living, responsive system. Let's break down the first half of that dance. Think of it like a chain of command. First, your brain sends out a signal, a hormone called FSH. That tells a follicle in your ovary, hey, it's time to grow. As that follicle gets bigger, it starts pumping out estrogen. Once your estrogen level hits a certain peak, your brain sees it and goes, all right, we've got a mature egg ready to go. And it releases this massive surge of another hormone, LH. And that LH surge, that's the final green light for ovulation. The egg is officially released. The second that egg is released, the curtain goes up on Act 2. This is it. This is the part of the story we are here to investigate, the luteal phase. Now, the star of this second act is a little something called the corpus luteum. You see, after the follicle releases the egg, it doesn't just disappear. It transforms into this amazing, temporary little factory. And its one and only job is to produce the hormone that runs the entire second half of your cycle, progesterone. And this corpus luteum, it has a very predictable, kind of short life. For about 12 to 14 days, it's busy making progesterone, which makes your uterine lining all cozy and ready for a potential pregnancy. If a pregnancy doesn't happen, it just kind of runs out of steam and fades away. Progesterone levels drop, and that's the signal for your period to start. But, and this is cool, if a pregnancy does happen, the pregnancy hormone, HCG, swoops in like a superhero and rescues the corpus luteum, telling it, don't stop. Keep making that progesterone. Okay, so that's how it's all supposed to work. But what happens when there's a glitch in the system? This is where we get to the heart of the mystery we're solving today, the luteal phase defect. Now, a luteal phase defect, or LPD, isn't just some vague feeling. It's a real clinical thing, and there are 2 major clues you can look for. The first is a luteal phase that's consistently short. We're talking 11 days or less between when you ovulate and when your period starts. The second big clue is spotting that happens during that second half of your cycle. And this is where most people's brains go next, right? If the luteal phase is all about progesterone, can't we just get a blood test to see if it's low? Wouldn't that give us a simple, clear answer?
You'd think so, but the answer is surprisingly not really. And here's the mind-blowing reason why. Progesterone isn't released in a nice, steady stream. It comes out in pulses. So at one moment, your level could be 3, and a little while later it could be 40, and both of those could be totally normal. A single blood test is just one snapshot in time, and it can be super misleading. It just can't give you the full picture.
So if a simple blood test isn't the smoking gun, then what is the real culprit here? Well, our investigation now leads us back to where it all began, that incredibly important connection between the brain and the ovaries. And this is the most important clue of all. For a long time, the common belief was that a luteal phase defect was a low progesterone problem, that the ovary just wasn't doing its job. But the deeper truth is that it's rarely a problem with the ovary itself. It's actually a symptom of a problem that happened earlier, an ovulation problem. Think of it this way. It's not an equipment failure, it's a communication breakdown. Okay, so if a wonky luteal phase is really a sign of a shaky ovulation, that leads us to the next logical question, right? What's messing with ovulation in the first place? When we look at the potential suspects, a few things pop up. It could be structural things like polyps or fibroids. It could be other hormones that are out of whack, like hyperlactin or thyroid issues. Sometimes conditions like PCOS are involved. But the number one most common culprit we see, it's something called hypothalamic dysfunction.
The hypothalamus is like the mission control center in your brain that directs this whole hormonal symphony. But its signals can get fuzzy. Things like chronic stress, not eating enough, a diet causing a lot of inflammation, or even super intense exercise can create static on the line. The brain ends up sending a weaker signal to the ovaries, which leads to a weaker ovulation and, you guessed it, a weaker luteal phase. So now that we've followed all the clues and we've zeroed in on the real source of the problem, we can finally move from just knowing things to actually doing things. This is your path to getting real answers. Here's your 3-step action plan. It's super straightforward. First, you've got to break up with your abs predictions and start tracking ovulation for real using your actual biology, things like basal body temperature, ovulation predictor kits, or cervical mucus. Second, become the lead detective of your own body. Write down the exact length of your luteal phase and any spotting you see. And third, take that amazing data to your doctor and ask them to investigate the underlying causes we just talked about, not just for a one-off progesterone test. And while you're working with your doctor, there are seriously powerful things you can do on your own to support that brain-ovary conversation. You want to focus on things that help clear up that static on the line. Things like eating an anti-inflammatory diet, finding real ways to lower chronic stress, making sleep a non-negotiable priority, and even building muscle, which is amazing for your hormonal health. In the end, this whole investigation comes down to one powerful idea. Your body is always communicating with you. A short luteal phase or spotting isn't a flaw, it's a message. It's your body trying to tell you something. And learning to understand its language, well, that's your greatest strength.